Hello everybody, we are back on the live stream. I'm just playing around with one preset of Punch-2, just triggering the sequencers, the built-in sequencer. Down here you can see groove 1 to 4 and break 1 to 4. Each has 4 tracks and you can use the 24 sounds which are inside of it. Of course you could also make it 8 grooves, that's up to you, so it's totally free, but in this case I simply combine it together. So groove 1 is the bass drum and the snare. You can see it here in the pattern. You see 4 tracks. And to give a bit of a guide, we called it 4 grooves, which are the C3 is the first groove, the second groove is D3, in this case I play a hi-hat, then you have the third one, it's the E3 is groove 3, claps, and 4, something with this bit distorted conga thing. And then there is G3, which is the break, and the C3 sharp is break 1, D3 sharp is a break 2, and F3 sharp is break 3. And you see in the background the sequencer is running, and I simply can play live things. Of course you need to time well. I guess you can see my keyboard. Of course, you also could play this all live just by using the 24 pads. Or make a sequence, which is the other mode in pattern. The pattern, we have 2 modes, which are essentially what you see here. The audition, you can audition the whole groove by hitting the audition key, which is G3 sharp. Then you see this is the collection that it plays. So if you don't like the conga, that is groove number 4, you keep it out, and then you have to distort the groove, the audition, without the conga. But if you also can play single notes, and the cool thing is then you can do essentially some live things, adding to a drum percussion, because some of the features in Punch-2 with the sequencer, they are not so easy to do with a traditional sequencer, because you can have each tab a different tuning, a different envelope length, and that makes that the sequencer is also a soundscaping tool. But I like this one. Sounds nice with the sequencers in the background. So now it's the claps with the bass drum. So yeah, just to start a bit of the live stream, I'm checking here, everybody okay, my audio is good, I hope. I think it should be. I saw audio going out from my streaming software from EBS. I'm typing here, hello everybody. Okay, so what is the plan for today? Well, currently I'm working on a new tutorial about Punch-2 and the sample pad. And it's quite a work to write the script because in today's world people don't have time, and if it would be a live stream, that would take maybe an hour for people to watch, and if you make a tutorial, it's only 50 minutes, very compact information about how to work with the sample pads. And I made, of course, already the tutorial about drag and drop, which is very important. Then we have the color options, about the slice. Of course, Punch-2 is a very deep drum machine, so it's important to have good tutorials, but they take time. At least this tutorial about the sample pad will most likely be in working hours, something like 1 day to 1.5 day work. But of course, it saves a lot of time for you guys. Once you watch this, then it's easier for you to see what the options are. Okay, so there was last week a question about a sound, and let me see. I can show it here. It's from Sona, and he wrote me about a kick drum from a particular artist. And I looked it up, and this whole album is on YouTube, and you can listen to it. But I'm not sure, Sona, if you're watching, which of the tracks you mean, which bass drum. What is definitely clear is that it is in 1997, and you hear a lot of 909. So if you're looking for this particular sound, essentially the 909 is inside Punch as a sample, the classic one. So if I go here to this pad here, I can pick here, sorry, that's wrong, bass drum, we have it here, and this is model 1. I go to classic and classic bass drum 3. And this is essentially a 909. So let's make a bit more volume. And what he uses this 909, and then also sometimes with a bit of distortion. And if you simply open the power distortion here, you already get this sound. Or you can pick a different one, like a, let me see, a fold over. That's more distorted than, let me take another one, saturation. And of course you could tune it a bit, but I would use then this sound, this classic 3, which is in the, if the type is bass drum, the classic 3, which is a 909 sample. But please email me back again with which song you mean from this whole album, which you'd like to be checked out with maybe Punch-2 or, for instance, raw kick or punch bass drum. And what I also like to point out, if you have then Punch-2, you also could check the Rob Fabry bank, which is bank number 11, bass drum 1, hardcore, RF, which stands for Rob Fabry. He has also some 90s sound inside of it on the first note C1. Okay. So here we have this bass drum. So what I want to tell you about the sample pads. Okay, we had, of course, drag and drop as an option. But before I show that, what you can do if you do drag and drop, what the vision behind is, if you do drag and drop, what happens with all the parameters. You see there are a lot of parameters here. And here are the files, so these samples. These are all pre-factory installed samples. Folder 2 we kept free for you guys. And here I did a drag and drop a snare. And if you click on this sample here, you can hear it. So on. Okay. And so there are many presets which are with this sample type pad, and this you can see here. You see a folder, and these are all presets which are using the built-in sample. So for instance, Taiko 01, then I open here one of the presets, and then here let me see which note I am. Okay. All kind of taiko sounds. So there are a lot of presets on board already. There's one bug I saw here. You have bass drum 1, and when I go to the first preset, suddenly you have water drops. So that's an error. Maybe it's on my computer only, but if you see this one popping up, then you could delete it. So if you go down to the manager, you go to the drum kit manager, which is up here, and then you see all the presets from this sample pad. Here you see sample pad and then all these drum presets. So you have a drum kit, which is a total collection of 24 pads together with sequencers and everything together. But each pad type has its own presets. So this one here I should delete. So goodbye, delete preset, yes, and it's gone. So it should start with bass drum, drum and bass 1. Very light one, and you see here, down here we have other ones, but these all are using the built-in samples. So when I go back here to the advanced page of pad 1, by the way, here if you click on this little symbol, you also can audition it. Maybe a little bit small. Of course, you can also play the keyboard. And this one uses a frame drum, and it combines with 2 samples. An orchestral bass drum is used here, and a sample A is a frame drum in a cave. So you hear very dark, big sound. Okay. Then, but okay, let's go back to the thing which some of the users will use. They will use drag and drop, and simply will use that. So if you would have drag and drop, let's see what happens. I can drag and drop a snare, which is here, and I drag the snare to the third pad. Okay, here it goes. Aha, and you see, right away you can use it. Simply drag and drop and everything is ready to go, essentially, because what happens is this. The sample is loaded in sample A, here it is, and you see sample A, the drag and drop folder. I picked 2 users, so it should be in the user folder. Here it is. This is the one. So there's the drag and drop. And what we did is making, once you do a drag and drop, making it a kind of default. So the tuning is natural, is neutral. There's nothing changed. There's no filter thing or filter LFO. Nothing weird is going on. The only thing what is happening is that you get a certain velocity setting, which is, in this case, I see 100%. Should be, I think, 75, something like that. But this one. You always can change that, so I can bring back here the velocity. And then you see that the M section is essentially having the decay fully open. And this is something we did on purpose, because if you have the decay fully open, look in the upper section where the readout is. Here is the readout. You see parameter name and parameter value. I go back now over this decay, and you see in the top, pad 3 sample A amp decay held. And held means that the whole sample is played fully. So if the sample, this one is pretty short, but if it's 6 seconds, it would play 6 seconds. So no matter how long or short you play the sound, the sample will always sound good. Of course, once you change this decay, you can make it shorter. You can even change the curve of it. It is of course the case that a percussion sound has from natural already a exponential curve like this here. You see down here like this. This is originally already inside the sample itself. If you have percussion sounds, that you also can see here a little bit, because here you see a wave display of this loaded sample. So if you are simply do drag and drop, the setting of this part where you see a lot of features is already very useful. The only thing you should do then is, in case you want a more velocity, so that you increase it, or less velocity, and you can change here the amp, and could easily stick with decay. And of course, if you go to the main page, the decay is also here. not working yet. Why not? Maybe I found a bug. Oh no, it's set to hold. Okay, logic. So if I make it now shorter, then this one in the main page also should. Now it responds. You see, this decay is in percentage, and if the sound here is on held, then of course it's the case that it finished totally the sound. So the decay has no influence. It really finishes off this sample, no matter how long it is. Maybe it's an idea to have, which pops up now in my mind, is that even if held is used, that you still can use this decay. I should discuss this with John and write this down. Maybe that's better, because I can imagine that people maybe upload samples here and then turn the decay and nothing happens. And the reason for that is, of course, is that the decay by default goes to this held setting. And okay, so this is the part which is important. Then, of course, if we go more into detail in what you can do with this sample, is that you see you can sample offset. And what you do is change the sample start point. You also can reverse a sample. And then the sample offset is very handy because you can change it to your tempo you like to have. So this is reverse sample, very, very cool feature. Then we have sample retrigger. If you put that on, one, you see upper in the, watch here in the upper range, you see one, that's of course one retrigger, and then here you see it. Then you have the retrigger time, you open. So it retriggers again the sample, and you can make it 2 times. And of course, now the decay weird things you can do. So this is the sample retrigger. It's a very cool feature. And of course, if you go fully to the left, it's off. So you can max of 12 retriggerings of one sample. So this is maybe not the right sample for doing this, but maybe for very short percussion sounds. Let me take another, okay, percussion. This is of course in the user bank. I need to go up in the default. So the one are the factory patches. When I go to percussion, when I go to, let's see what we have. But I could, cowbell. I take a small one. So now, retrigger. So can make some weird sounds with that. So this is the sample retrigger feature. Okay, let's go back now to the snare I had. So because that I wanted to have, so I go back to the user folder where I did drag and drop this snare. Here it is again. So this is the retriggering. I hope you can follow me a bit, because yeah, I started this live stream about the sample pad. As mentioned, I'm planning to do a extensive tutorial about it, which would be maybe 15 minutes. And now, well, while doing it in a live stream, it takes much more time, but maybe you find it interesting because the tutorial is not yet ready yet, and then maybe you simply watch the live stream about Punch-2 and the sample pad. Okay, so then we have here, you see a loop feature. And of course, loop, I can put it on now, then it loops this whole sound, but that doesn't make really sense. It's a bit like this repeating thing, of course, and you also can use that for repeating things while changing the loop end. But it's not that way we planned it, because what we had in plan, if you have a very long sound picture, also I go back again to the factory patches here, I go to loops, and there you see, yeah, white noise stereo. Okay, double click. And now it's gone. Now I put on loop. And it stays. So for, this is noise, but it could be well a kind of metallic sound, which is very long. And then of course, if it is a loop sound, you can use here again, I go to the amp, the decay, to make it shorter. And then also the curve makes sense. So there are other pink noise stereo. And then of course it's getting cooler if you have then, let's say, a low pass filter over it to make a low rumble. So I'm now simply using a sample. And you see now the filter becomes active. And of course it depends, but this is the loop is essentially great for if you really have a looped waveform of a noise like this pink noise. So it's really totally looped, so I can play it endlessly. There's one other sound. So there's a loop in the bass. Fades out. Okay, so that's also the case. Once loop is active, then the decay halt doesn't work anymore, because it would play then endlessly, because it finishes off the sample always, and then if it's loop, it will continue loop. This was a bass drum player playing on a bathroom door with his hand percussion, and I use that. It's a nice thing. So this is about the loop. So this section here is about the sample, and you have the additional features. So here in the samples offset, I also could say start on a different point. And of course then yeah, you can do some cool stuff with this. So yeah, so that is essentially the basic things, and still we having only one sample, and each sample pad can load 3 samples, as you can see. And if you have more samples, then this section here is going to work. So mix and split. And because of the original Punch-1, we have to add a mix A and B, which is an original Punch-1 parameter. But of course, you also have A, B, and C as a volume. But let me give you an example. So if you're here in the sample folder of the sample pad, and then I go to a folder, and then especially the FX percussion. Let me see, and then I need to pick one preset, of course. Oh no, this is August drop. Bamboo bass drum. So these are all presets, but I see that's only sample A used. So the play mode is sample A, and now I'm going up to see if we have stacked sounds. There's still single. Okay, let's see if we find something. No. No, let's go to the bass drums. There are more stacks. Oh, the snares. Yes, snares. So why not go to the snares? Okay, sorry, my bad. Sample pad, and then I need to go to the folder with snares. So type sample. I made a mistake. This one uses split. So if I play harder, let's go. You hear a different sample. Hear that? So sample A is this one, sample B is that one, and in split, I go to the let's see, sample C. Even sample C has something loaded. So even 3 splits, which you see here. Sample C, sample B, sample A. And by the way, by the next update, we make the letters light up if a sample is loaded. So now when I click here for selecting it, you see that each time in the lower screen, you see a different sample. So this one is using a velocity split. So if I play soft, and okay, I need to set it, of course, to split when I play soft. You have each time a different of sound. So that's a good, cool thing about it. So this is the split mode for velocity splits. And here you can move them around. So you can grab this line and move it around for the velocity setting. Let's see if we have more. This is using mix, and mix is between A and B. These are 2 snares, snare A, okay, let's go, and snare B. And they together is mix, and you can mix between them. Then if you go to the right, you have mix A, B, mix A, and mix B. So you really can make new snares by simply combining 2. And of course, you can, if you go here, you can change the pitch. So sample A, this one has this pitch. Okay, let's play it solo. And sample B has this pitch. And let's see how it combines now. Mix AB. Not so nice. So you need to sample B a bit. This is more realistic. So simply by combining 2 snares together, you have one new snare. So this is mix B, and then there's of course there's also an option for mix A, B, and C. Here I see still split, and let me see. Alternate, that's another thing. Alternate means that it goes A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, or A, B, A, B, A, B. So in this case, sample A has a sample B has a sample, and no, only A, B. A and B. It's very minimal effects. It makes it a bit more live, although this one has a bit of a... Oh, no, I'm wrong again. Here I need to go with... So alternate this one again. It's A. And it seems to be pretty much... So I'm just checking in the... This one is again alternate. 2 different. So this uses a D-Wee snare to B, and the A is D-Wee snare to C. And you can hear, now it's alternating between 2 snares, but makes it a bit more realistic. So that is alternate between, and the max is of course 3 samples for each pad. Mix A, B, and C. I'm not sure if that is somewhere. Let me see. I need to go to the folder of this and see if we have synth. Maybe here something is happening. Not sure. Only pink noise preset here. No, that's not a good folder. Let's go again to the FX percussion. There, fantasy is a lot used to stack things. So let me see. No, it's still pretty much single samples here. Let me see if I can find more in the other folder, percussion 3. And of course, once you are in this folder, here, this is all water drop FX. Water gong. And you see the play mode is mostly only one sample, a lot of presets using. Yeah, I'm just switching. So no, not really. Maybe somewhere else is a frame drum. I think there maybe things are more combined. So when I look here in the play mode, I look if there is a stacking. Not really. Here's a mix AB. This one is mixed AB. So put down the velocity, a bit more volume. Sample A and B. 2 caves together. So it's a combination of this one and this one. So I think it has to do with the tuning. So if I added B now, you can make some weird sounds. Making it more stereo. Yeah, it's so again, what I did is having the sample pad. This is the Node D1. You have all kind of folders with presets, which all kind of things. When I go to 14, I need to pick the first preset to hear that. All kind of sound effects. And of course, yeah, this is the mode. Maybe I should stay not too much inside of it. There's an option here which is called spread. So it's also the case that if you use mix AB or mix ABC, that spreads pass them left right, depending even with stereo samples. So if I would let's do this with a snare. So I need to pick a snare. Well, this one is split. I'll make it mix AB. Okay. This is the B. This is sample B. So this one, make it a bit higher. And then sample A is this one. Okay. And if I open spread, of course I need to combine them now. When I open spread, they go left, right. Very wide snare. But that's also the option to make, and especially for sound effects, that can be very cool, of course. So that is the spread. So you can mix 3 samples, you can velocity split, and then this here is gonna rule. Then we have here an option, combine. And this is, you need to be careful with this. Go to sample A and you can combine then certain settings. So if I combine here and make the whole sound shorter, it's for all these A, B, and C. And if you put combine off again, you notice then it's again different. So you need to really, if combine is active, it makes that you, if you added sample A, that everything, also B and C gets this same. Yeah, combining kicks, somebody just mentioned. Yeah, definitely that's is an option. You can combine 3 samples together. I have in the bass drum bank. So you have here type sample, folder, bass drum, and then you go here and you see all kind of mixes. So mix bass drum, mix 1. Let's see what we have. Oops, now I'm the wrong. I'm on the wrong note. Sorry guys, I messed up. Here it is again. So here we have the preset, this bass drum mix 1. And this is very nice. So let's say that we go back to this, to another preset bank. I go now to this one. I think this is the bass drum. Okay, I go here, sample bass drum, and then I go here and pick simply another one. One of the presets. So it's not, that's the cool thing, the sample pads, we have so many presets using the built-in samples. Sure, you can use also it's a good question. If you have a bass drum like this one, can you use only the start of the one bass drum, make it shorter? Sure, definitely. So if I have mix A, B, you see this is A and this is B. You can say go to mix A, and here you can play it back. So I see that the preset has mix A, B. I go to sample A, then it only plays sample A. And what I do here, I make it shorter. Then I only have the attack of this of this sample, and the other one, sample B, is the long tail. And now you can combine it. Of course, you need to set it back to mix AB. Of course, the result is not as good as it could be, but that's possible. So yeah, let's go to a next preset. So this bass drum, if you go here to sample A, pink noise combined with a frame drum. Okay, a bass drum is a snare. Yeah, that's sure. If this one now, if I want to make it a snare to it, I go to C and I say mix ABC. Of course, but first I need to go to sample C to load one. So I go here to a snare. Let's take the one from the user. And then I go here and I say mix ABC. Sounds weird. I can make it shorter. Yeah, it's very dirty. It's like slamming a door, isn't it? Okay, let's check the chat room because I keep on talking. Somebody talks about Blade 2. Yeah, it takes a while. That will be October for sure, because we're still working on the graphics. Gonna be great looking, but to play it, that's a bit too early to show the user interface. I've already made some presets, but we also have some little bugs. So it's in progress, and hopefully this month, later this month, I can show you a bit more. Okay, now we talked about mixing together these samples on one pad. Very nice, dirty bass drum. And if you created a sound and you think, oh, this is a nice one, you always can save it. You can save a preset and save it in a folder. You could create your own folder and save the presets, the drum presets, in your own folder. So this is separate from the upper kit preset, which is a whole kit. Okay, let's go more to some other features. So we have then this we discussed, this part, and the amp we discussed. Then we have, of course, the tuning, which we do here. But below the tuning, you see also a frequency envelope. So when I go back and play only the snare C, okay, make it normal tuning, I can give it an additional frequency envelope. Watch this. Making weird drum sounds. Let's mix that with the other one. Gets dirty, isn't it? So this is a pitch envelope, a frequency envelope of the tuning. But there's more, because, okay, let's go back. Make the snare again normal. Is that you also have grains, granular. Not always. Yeah, you can go totally insane. Granular. Depends on the sound, but granular is granular on the sample. So you can change the lengths, make it random. So this is what you can also do on one single sample. And this means also for the other one. So if you have the bass drum, you can also do granular on that one. Combine A, B, and C. It's a bit too hard now, but I'll say A, B, that will be. Can make totally weird sounds. So this is in this section, the pitch envelope on the tuning of the snare, in this case, or the bass drum, so the tuning of the sample. Granular you can put on or off. Then of course we have the frequency filter, the synthesizer filter, and somebody asked if you could switch between frequency. Yeah, of course you could say cut off the low end from some sound or the high end. It's of course not an equalizer, it's a synthesizer filter, but it has some additional nice features. If we go to, let's see, we are in the right folder. When I go to claps, are we having some additional claps? I need to pick, of course, the first preset. Let's see if we can find something with an interesting filter type. Well, this is a clap. And I could put on this one a vowel filter. Okay, come on, Fox. Oh, I'm editing the wrong sample. Sample A, of course, nothing happened, but it's the wrong sample. Each of the samples, so as sample A, B, and C, has their own filter. So here I could have a vowel. and combine it with another sample, which is this one. Oh, let's see. And mix this again. Of course, I need to play mode mix. I'm totally messing up now, I believe. For some reason, that one also has this filter. Oh, maybe I'm wrong about having different filter types. Maybe, oh, I have combine on. Stupid me. So watch out with this combine. So now it's sample A is this one, sample B. This one, sample A is with the Vox, and sample B is without filter. So now combining two claps together. So only with using these sample pads alone and the factory patches, you can make already 1 trillion drum kits, simply by being creative with the sample patch, by combining 3 samples, by using the tuning, granular filter. There's a filter LFO here and a filter envelope. So if you go back here to the bass drum, if I'm not wrong, one of the bass drums, let's see, had really very deep noise, and which could be, let me see, so maybe somewhere, not really, oh, where is it? Mix 22 maybe. No. So let's take this one as an example. This one uses sample A. I would do sample B is nothing. I would pick here in sample B loops the pink noise. Okay, I use a 24 dB low pass filter here. I change here, of course, the setting. Put an envelope. I need to have the stereo one. So now I create by simply, so if I put off the noise, it's a pink noise like this. Okay, I adjust the decay. I add a low pass filter to it, 24 dB. Where is it again? Here. And I can create a kind of room sound simply by using pink noise, which is a sample, and then combine again with sample A. So you see, combinations make that you have so many options. So making it dark bass drum sound. Okay, let's see the chat room, because I'm talking already for an hour about this sample pad. And if you missed this live stream, just start from the beginning. Then you get the whole point. Essentially, I do a live stream about the sample pad, but there will be a tutorial which is very compact, which will maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, where I explain everything inside the sample pad, because there are plenty of options. And if you like to tweak, being creative, you can do a lot of cool things. Okay, I'm checking the chat room. Okay. Yeah, there's another thing I like to mention. Yeah, repeating a snare. Maybe you mean by playing it, or that there is a kind of ratcheting, or that you should play it, or there's no feature inside Punch-2 where you can have that one automatically. We have, of course, if you go to the snare here, the retrigger feature, which is also in the normal snare. So if I could say retrigger and time, but it keeps on repeating then, of course. So this retrigger and time is also part in some of the other models, not only in the sample pad what I showed here, that we have the retrigger here, but it's also in some of the other ones. Yeah, 132's repeat. Yes, there are some drum machines hardware which you can do this by simply pressing the pad and then it repeats it. But that's not the case with Punch-2. Oh, like the air. Oh, here it's like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand that. It's currently not inside of this in this Punch-2. Yeah, and the other thing about the sample page, which let's go back to it, is let me see, is of course the stereo swap, which is part for essentially all the models, most of them, is that we have a nice stereo swap, which was originally already an idea with, yeah, I need to have a longer sound for that. Let me see where I can find it. Tabla sizzle. Okay, here we have a sound. I push now combine, so I combine. And then you see here the stereo swap, it starts from the left and goes to the right over a certain time. Sometimes you see this dot move, but that's still a little bug we need to solve. But if the time is of course off, then it's the whole feature is off. But now you see it goes from left to right. So that's the stereo swap. We have some cool sounds, but I'm not having them now. Let me see. So I think should be somewhere in the FX percussion. Let's see. Yeah, here it's also used. Yeah, you see, go from left to right. Yeah, there's so many features. So this is the last feature I wanted to mention, the stereo swap. Then, of course, it's the case that in the right section, you still have the option to use distortion for this particular pad. And so, yeah, the options are, yeah, quite a lot. But check out the tutorial once released. Hopefully next week I will have it ready. It's much work because I like to keep it as compact as possible, because if it takes too long, people lose their concentration. But yeah, it's the story which needs to be told about Punch-2, because yeah, so many cool features, and especially if you are creative and like to experiment yourself, it's a very cool cool feature. So, as mentioned, each pad type has its own presets. So we had the sample with folders with all kind of presets for this particular pad. Switch knife. Oh no, that's this one. This, by the way, that will also be a cool one for stereo swap. So all kind of presets on board. Of course, one of the banks which you could check out for using all these features is in the films. We have there the, let me see. Okay, here it is. The affix symbols, which have some affix sounds. Where is it? But of course, then also the preset bank, by the way, for Ian Bob of weird sound and So that's really a cool bang from Ian Body, very gifted sound designer. Okay, yeah, we're almost at the end, and I'm checking here the chat room. Okay, I think we covered it a little bit, so you always can watch it back. I place this always in the playlist live stream, and I noticed that there is a community section in YouTube where I also can post if there is a live stream. I saw that popping up. If you did subscribe to the channel, it pops up. So not the video pops up always if in a new video, but then the announcement pops up as well. And of course, I announced this on Facebook and on Twitter if there is a live stream. Normally, always a live stream the same day, which is Thursday, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. In the Central European time, Amsterdam time, so 1 hour starting at 8 o'clock. And yeah, hope to see you back next week again. Then maybe I have a bit of news about the Blade 2. You never know. And I end then with playing again because that I liked a lot with this start, what we did. From the last, in the live stream when we started, we had this this little groove, which was cool. I'll go to the manager. It was from Bank. Of course, I would not find it now. I just pick one. So I go out with a bit of music. See you next time.